Joining me now to provide some analysis of the economic projections is the state's economist, Dr. Laura Kolumbakidis. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is now the longest economic expansion in history, and the state is projected to have a budget surplus of $1.3 billion. Also noteworthy is that the budget reserve has reached its statutory capacity at $2.3 billion. Is this good news?
Yes, it's very good news. It's great that Minnesota's steady economic performance is continuing, even as the U.S. expansion has surpassed record length. So that's very good news. To extend this expansion longer is great. The budget reserve is good news for Minnesota because we're surely closer to the next recession than we are to the last. And so when the economic downturn occurs, it will be really valuable to have that reserve filled up so that the state can continue to provide services that are going to be needed as revenue growth slows in a recession.
The outlook has improved since the last forecast in February, with continued GDP growth for the next 4 years. What contributed to the slightly improved outlook in GDP?
Yeah, so the GDP outlook is slightly improved. That is due to some offsetting effects in a couple of components of GDP. So the consumer spending forecast has increased. And this is the U.S. consumer spending forecast, and that is higher because incomes are higher, because household wealth has been growing. If you think about in the U.S., most people's sources of wealth are their homes and savings, for instance, retirement savings, stock portfolios, and both of those things have been growing. And when household wealth increases, when people feel wealthier, they spend more. And that additional spending forecast has been supported also by improved employment outlook for the U.S. Now that offsets a lowered outlook on the business side. So business investment, that forecast is lower than it was in February, and business investment is forecast to slow down.
So I had the question, the thing about consumer spending is experts believe it will continue, and you've explained that. The forecast also predicts that real wages will exceed the rate of inflation. So how is that possible? I mean, because if we keep having money, we'll keep spending it. Why the belief that will be true?
Yeah, so in our Minnesota forecast in particular, we have average wages per worker growing at a rate that exceeds the rate of inflation, which means that real wages will improve. And the reason for that in Minnesota is that we have a tight labor market here. So we have very strong demand for labor, and we have some restrictions on supply of labor as the population ages and as baby boomers retire. And so that high demand and tight supply means that wages per worker should go up. And so we forecast modest or moderate growth in total wages across the whole economy, but because our labor supply is tight, that means that individual workers are expected to have higher wages. And so at the U.S. level, which is where the consumer spending forecast comes from, those higher wages support higher consumer spending.
But you also mentioned that businesses are not growing at the rate that maybe we would like. What's holding them back?
Yeah, so that business investment forecast, so that has to do with, it's called business fixed investment, and it's business purchases of equipment, of buildings, of intellectual property, and that has slowed down. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One is manufacturing has slowed down. In the U.S., there has been a decline in manufacturing employment, and that has been hit by the trade war. And so trade policy uncertainty has affected the manufacturing sector, and it has consequently affected business investment. It also has to do with the strong U.S. dollar. So as the dollar is stronger, that means that our goods are more expensive for our overseas customers, and so demand for U.S. exports slows down. So those are the things that are slowing manufacturing and are slowing business investment.
So if things with the trade policy would be resolved, you would expect then manufacturing to reverse and start to grow again?
Yeah, that would be upside potential to this U.S. forecast, would be if all of this trade policy uncertainty, which is slowing things for businesses, if that were lifted and they actually know what the trade policy playing field looks like, then they might invest in expansion that they aren't right now. So right now, trade policy uncertainty is causing firms to hold off. Like, I don't know exactly who my suppliers are going to be. I don't know whether there's going to be a tariff on my goods when I ship them to another country. And so I'm going to hold off and not expand yet. But if all of that uncertainty goes away, if we have trade agreements that clarify the law going forward, then businesses may well pick up.
And it's been reported that the uncertainty in trade policy has really dampened farming, agriculture in the state as well. Would you expect more certainty in trade to reverse that? And how specifically is ag being affected in Minnesota?
Yeah, so all of the trade exposed industries, manufacturing, logistics, agriculture, those are all facing this uncertainty. And for agriculture, it has been particularly problematic, the relationship between the US and China. So China was a large purchaser of US soybeans, it's a large purchaser of US pork. We also have had, in the last couple of years, policy uncertainty with regard to Canada and Mexico, which are our largest trading partners in Minnesota. And so when there's uncertainty about whether a country is going to allow those exports, for instance, when China says we're not going to purchase US soybeans, then that significantly impacts the farmers who produce those commodities here in Minnesota. And it has been a number, the trade war with China came at a time when net farm incomes had been declining for several years following really high commodity prices in 2012, 2013. And so it came at a really rough time for farmers that were dealing with the declining prices.
They could certainly see a change in their fortunes. One noteworthy item is that domestic migration has reversed. It has improved. 15 years of decline, and now more people are moving to Minnesota than are leaving. Another positive note is the increase in household formations. So what is driving those two changes?
Yeah, so yes, net domestic in-migration is now positive for Minnesota, meaning that for 17 and 18, the two most recent years of data, we gained more people from other states than we lost. And household formation, what that means is that when you have people living together in a household and then they separate, that creates a household. So a household can form because a new household moved into the state, or because people who have been living together in order to save costs, for instance, separate and create new households. Both of those things, I think, are the result of a strong economy and good jobs in Minnesota. So people look from around the country and around the world, looking for, where do I want to live, work, start a business, raise my family? Well, in a state where the budget is in good shape and there's a strong demand for jobs and average wages are increasing, not at gangbuster rates, but faster than the US rate, then it looks like a great place to move to. And with regarding household formations, you usually expect to see formations to increase as the economy improves following a recession. So during a recession, people move together to save on money. Your kid graduates from college and they don't move into their apartment, they move into your basement. And then as the economy improves, people separate. But household formations didn't pick up as much during this expansion as was expected.
Early on, you mean?
Early on,
and
right.
It is now.
Right, and so it's not so much surprising that we got a spike in household formations in the recent data. What's surprising is that we didn't get it sooner.
But now we have it.
Yeah.
We're out of time. Dr. Klimbakides, I want to thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in February.
Sure.